Sarah Giles. I'm 27 from Mandeville, Louisiana. I've been part of Yak Tribe for about 2 years now. My earliest fishing memory is also my earliest memory in life too. I was probably about 3 or 4 years old, and there's a pond in our neighborhood, and we were fishing for bass, and I hooked into this huge 3-pound bass, well, huge for a 3-year-old, and I was terrified, and I threw the rod down and ran away. My dad was like, no, come back, come back, come back. And so I got the rod in my hand again, terrified again, threw it down, ran away. And I remember the exact spot. I could tell you where it was by the specific culvert, so I just always loved to fish. I have I don't even know if it has a name. I think it's a Catch 100. It's made by Pelican. Cost me $150 at Academy, and I got it because I moved down to a little town called Thibodaux for my job, and I didn't know a soul, but I knew I wanted to fish, and I needed something I could load onto my car, my 4Runner, by myself and lift by myself, and it weighs 35 pounds. So it was easy. I literally walked out of the store with it like on my shoulder, and I was like, okay, like I can do this. I can do this by myself. The name of my kayak is the Flower Pot, and I didn't name it that. Mr. Eddie, who owns the kayak launch, he named it that. It was after I won the women's speckled trout tournament. He was just joking. He said, Sarah, your kayak looks like something that you found in your grandma's yard and had been covered in dirt for like 3 years and had a bunch of wild onions growing in it, and you one day just flipped it over, hosed it out, and said, I'm gonna fish in that. Looked like an old flower pot. So that's why it's called the Flower Pot. My top 3 favorite areas to fish. 1, obviously Pointe-aux-Chenes. There's just no place like it. Eddie and Lisa at Pat Kayak Rentals have created, somebody called it once, a Disneyland for adults who love fishing. And it's pretty much what it is. It's awesome. The fishing's amazing. People are so friendly. You can just stop in. There's always somebody looking for somebody to go out and fish with. Everybody's super nice. Second would be Bahamas for bonefish. That'll always have a special place in my heart. And third would be, we just got back from fly fishing in Patagonia, and that was pretty cool. That would be number 3. I primarily fly fish. I'm obsessed with it. I've stopped bringing my spinning rod. It just sits in the boat. I'd rather throw a fly rod in a hurricane than throw a spinning rod. It's just my favorite thing in the world. My favorite bait to use would be a shrimp fly that my dad ties. We actually named it the Mr. Eddie Shrimp after Eddie, who owns the kayak launch. It's pretty deadly. Outside of kayak fishing, I'm a big advocate for coastal land loss issues. I'm a wetland biologist, so I deal with wetlands on a daily basis, mapping, monitoring, water quality, things like that. I also sit on the board of directors of the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana. So we do everything from oyster shell recycling to marsh grass plantings to education and outreach. So that's really important to me because Louisiana loses a football field of wetlands an hour, which is insane. So if we don't do something, all this that we love it's going into the Gulf. Outside of fishing, I like working out, yoga, cooking, more fishing. Being a competitive female angler is definitely an interesting dynamic. You're obviously in the minority. People pretty much, when you show up, don't take you as seriously as some of the guys. So you kind of have to earn your respect more, definitely. You know, I've shown up at tournaments and the first thing somebody asks is like, oh, where's your husband? And you're like, it's just me, I'm just here to fish like everyone else. You know, we're all just anglers. So you have to earn some respect, but I try to just kind of do what I do and let my fishing do the talking. If I could have any kayak that I wanted, I've thought about this because I could go out and get a new kayak, but I like fishing out of the Flower Pot because it's a challenge. You know, I'm fly fishing out of a 10-foot plastic boat. You know, I like the challenge of that. I like that when I catch a fish, it does mean a little more because it's so hard, you know. So I don't know if I would get a new kayak, but if I could have anyone, it would be the Hurricane Sweetwater, because you could stand up in it. Sometimes I do miss out because I can't stand up. I can't see fish as well. And it's still really light, so I could still carry it by myself. I love combat launching on the side of the road. That's my favorite thing. You know, you just see a spot and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna launch right there. And you just, 3 minutes later, you're in the water. I can take it off by myself. So it would be the Sweetwater 120. One person that any day of the year, any conditions, I know I could outfish would be Matt Roberts. He's gonna have something to say about that, but no. Especially with the fly rod. He likes to think he can fly fish, but no. I got it. I'm Sarah Giles, and it was nice to meet you.
Sweet, you're the first one.
Nah!
Alright, so I'm going to ask you one more time, just because you looked at the camera.
I know!
Alright, so...
Just don't mind me just taking my pontoon boat. What?
Where's he going?
I don't know.
What did you call people who use spinning gear?
Oh, I call it spinning gear is commie tackle.
That's greatness. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah Giles, and it was nice to meet you.
I'm Sarah Giles, it was nice to meet you.
Good, and let's do that again. Ready? Go.
I'm Sarah Giles, it was nice to meet you.
Nope, not that one. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Go.
I'm Sarah Giles, it was nice to meet you.